Hello kids. It is another beautiful day in Boomerville. 65 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. Sky's perfectly blue, a bit of a breeze, and all of that makes me hungry. And what does it make me hungry for, you ask? Chicken. Mexican roadside chicken. Sinaloa Chicken. Start out by telling you what we've got. We have some Spanish extra virgin olive oil. We have some Mexican oregano. If you can, use the Mexican oregano. It's not like Mediterranean oregano. They're not even cousins. They're not even in the same family. You can get this at a Mexican grocery store. If you don't have one of those, use marjoram, because this has a bit of a citrus kick to it, and so does the marjoram. But we're lucky, we live near a Mexican grocery store, so that's what we have. We have some thyme. We have 4 cloves of garlic. We've got an onion that's about 6 ounces. We've got some orange juice, and then we have the chiles. These are chiles de arbol. They're spicy little babies, and these are chiles guajillo. They have a lot of flavor, a deep flavor. So we're going to start. Okay, so what we're going to do is make a marinade. We're going to do that by mixing these ingredients. So to start, we want 1.5 cups of orange juice. I figure 1.5 cups is just about 12 ounces. Then we're going to add 1/4 cup of olive oil to that. It's a marinade. I don't think it's super important what kind of olive oil. This happens to be Spanish virgin. So in the blender with that. Then I'm going to chop up our onion just a bit. Make things a little bit easier on the blender. In we go, into the bath, into the Sinaloa bath. As you can tell, I'm not a chef. I'm barely a cook. But this is not difficult to do. It's not an exact science. Just follow the basics and you'll be fine. All right, in with the garlic. In with the chiles de arbol. See, those are kind of small. In they go. These guajillos are bigger, so I'll give them a little bit of help. And again, I'm not steeping these. I think the marinade will take care of that. So in they go. Now, a couple of tablespoons of thyme. And I figure that's pretty close to 1 and 2. Now the Mexican oregano, so a couple of tablespoons of that, 1 and 2. So let's attach this. We're going to blend this up into a pretty fine puree. And a little bit more. I'm going to liquefy it. And it should look something like that. And it should smell something like that. So, all right, that's it for the marinade. I'm going to put this stuff away, go find a chicken, and I will be right back. All right, I'm back. I happened to find a chicken in my refrigerator. You know, the best chickens for grilling should be 3 to 4 pounds, but they are like impossible to find. You know, Costco has them, Publix has them. The problem is they keep them for themselves and put them on their rotisserie, and they don't sell them. So the smallest chickens I can ever find tend to be between 4 and 5 pounds at Costco. This one is like 4 pounds, 6 ounces, something like that. So what we're going to do, we're going to cut this chicken open. We're going to pour the marinade over the chicken, seal it up, pop it in the fridge for at least 3 hours. You can do as long as 8 or 9, I think. I've done both and they're really good, but 3 hours seems to be the minimum. Okay, so we're going to take this chicken, we're going to cut it in half. Most people in the US spatchcock a chicken, and they do that by cutting the back out, and they open up the breast. But I noticed in Mexico, whenever you're at one of these roadside places, they have the backbone in. And I never really understood why that is. But what they do, they leave the backbone in, they cut the breast. But after cooking a few of these, I think I know why. Because when you're trying to flip a whole chicken, if this piece of meat, or if this little intersection here of the two breasts is the only thing holding the chicken together, it tends to tear and fall apart, especially when the chicken gets close to being done. So by leaving the back in, there's a lot more structure. You've got the ribs that are running down through the breast, and they hold the chicken together better. So I'm going to cut this as best I can. One thing I always try to get rid of is this extra fat here. So we're going to take some of that off. And anything that doesn't look like you would really want to eat, which we end up with a couple of pieces that look like that. I mean, I ate a lot of stuff, but I don't really want to eat that. And then simply take your knife and give it a whack and cut this breast plate where it comes together. Try to get it right down the middle if you can. If you can't, it's not that big of a deal. Sometimes you got to give it a whack. There's a bone right here. There we go. Cut all the way down to the back. Got that. Then what you want to do, you like the chicken to lay as flat as it can. I still have some ice in this one, so we're going to get rid of that. I did wash this chicken and I rinsed it out before I brought it out here. So just give it a press and break that loose. Now that is going to lie nice and flat. You can clean it up a little bit if you like. Now you want to salt these chickens. If you notice, there was no salt in the marinade. In chickens, you really have to salt well. A long time ago, I was reading about cooking broiler chickens for big barbecues. And there was this article, I think it was by the University of Mississippi, and they had done this giant study. And their tip was salt the chicken until you think you have too much, and then add a little more. And I find that to be a good tip. When you're grilling, you know, the fat's running off the chicken, and you wash away a lot of the salt. I've never over salted one. So we've got a bunch of salt on here, and now what we're going to do is put this chicken in a bowl. This is a chicken bowl, by the way, directly from Amazon. If you're not fortunate as I am and lucky enough to have a chicken bowl, you can just use a regular bowl. All right, we've got our marinade. That's looking good. Yeah, smelling good. Just pour that over. You really want to get this thing. So I'm just going to take a pair of tongs and try to give it a couple of flips, or a flip. Ooh-wee. Help it out a little bit there. Really get it worked in. That's looking pretty good. I'm gonna take a spoon. Spoon some over this. And as this is marinating, I usually come back every hour or two and flip it, give it another spoon of sauce or marinade, just to make sure that everything's covered and stays that way. Then for the press and seal. This stuff is awesome. About 5 years ago, my daughter told me, "Dad, have you used press and seal?" And I'm like, "No." And she said, "Oh, you got to use it. It'll change your life." I thought, well, I don't know about that, but I'll give it a shot. So I did give it a shot, and guess what? It changed my life. I love this stuff. So press that down in there. Just keep everything, all that marinade in contact with the chicken. And now we're ready to go to the refrigerator. So I'm going to let this sit in the fridge today for, I don't know, probably about 5 hours. That'll give that marinade plenty of time to do its work. And after about 5 hours, I'm going to come back and we're going to grill this puppy. Oh, no, this chicken. Don't grill puppies. All right, see you then. All right, this charcoal is ready. It's not completely ablaze, but like I said, we've got a relatively long cook, maybe an hour and a half or so. So we're going to get it into the grill, and I'll have to add some before we go in here. This is super handy. I can adjust the height and get it right where I need it. We have our chicken, and just as importantly, I took the liberty of making myself a margarita. It's going to be super good, but I got to protect it from the heat. So here we go. All right, let's get the chicken on. This has been marinating for about, I guess, 4 hours or so. And it's a little messy. There we go. So you want to get it flat on the grill, as flat as we can. Splay that out a little bit. I'm going to take, and as I cook this, I'm going to use all of this marinade to baste it with. And I'll run out 20 minutes or 30 minutes before the chicken's ready, but that's fine. Make sure that that marinade's cooked. I'll come back in about 10 minutes and flip it, and I will see you then. All right, it's been between 10 and 15 minutes. I'm not using the thermometer, I'm going to use my hand. And basically when you can do about a 3 count and then before it gets too hot, I think that's about the right temperature. So let's give it a turn. Ooh. And I would say that is too low. I'm going to bring that up. Although there's nothing wrong with that char. I just like to char it a little bit later. So let's cool that down a bit. And almost anything. Also, you see how the chicken's dripping? That's your second sign. So the hand, there, that's good, and the drips. All right, I'll be back in about another 10 minutes. Well, I'm back. It's been about 10 minutes, and I just realized I did not cut the joints. Typically, we like to cut the joints at the leg to help that cook a little more evenly. So my lovely assistant is doing that for us right now. On the other hand, you can see that juice is rendering, or that fat's rendering out really nice. And I think our heat's about right. So we just want to let some extra heat into this joint. Perfect. Now I'm going to take that and give it a turn. It's been skin side down for about 10 minutes or so. That looks good. Just getting a little color on it. And we're going to baste this side now. We'll use this baste until it's all gone, and that will be perfect. That grease drips down onto the charcoal, then vaporizes and comes back up, and it's like magic. I love it. All right, I'm not going to bore you with every time I flip this, but 10 minutes, and I'll be back closer to the end. Okay, it's been about 45 minutes. I have used up all the basting. I've added some more lumped charcoal. I'm going to give this thing another turn. Oh, the skin's looking good. Starting to get just a little bit of blister in here. That's what we want. Give it the count. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can get to about 5. I'm going to drop it down just a little bit. I love this Santa Maria grill by Gabby's Grills. It's awesome. You can just raise and lower the grill to get where you want to be. But you don't have to have one to cook this chicken. You can just practice good charcoal and fire control. And typically I would say 12 inches off the coals of a medium hot fire. Keep an eye on it. Turn it frequently. You're going to be fine. So while it's gone, flipped it, basted it, added charcoal, and most importantly, I refilled my margarita. You want to know how to make one of these? Check out the margarita recipe or the video on my channel. See you in a bit. While we were at the Mexican market, we picked up some cebollitas. And cebollitas are an onion. I don't know if they're best described as a giant spring onion or a very small regular onion, but they are super delicious. You just spray or wipe a little bit of olive oil on them and then char them on the grill. So I'm going to give this another flip and get the skin more done, and I think I'm going to lower everything down a bit. Okay, well, it's been about an hour and 20 minutes or so, and pretty much the chicken is ready to pull. The onions are getting very close. So I'm going to pull this chicken, wrap it in some foil, let it rest, because it's been a stressful day for the chicken. But let's turn it over and see what it looks like. You see what I mean? How well it holds together with the backbone in there. I think that makes a huge difference, and I think that's a pretty good looking chicken. So I'm going to put this over here, wrap it up as best we can. Just let this rest. Okay, the chicken has been resting for about 10 minutes. Let's see what we have. And this looks pretty tasty. Now, see that juice in there? That is awesome stuff. I'm going to set this right over here for a minute. I'm going to take my handy cleaver that my son got for me. Thank you, Luis. Give that a chop. I'm going to chop there. I'm going to chop a thigh. chop this breast twice. And separate that. And now we're going to flip this one. Give it a chop. And another chop. And a chop at the wing. And we're going to cut that breast in half. So now what we're going to do, we're going to plate this. On the top. That, my friends, is Mexican Sinaloa chicken. This is not fine restaurant dining. This is roadside dining. By the way you eat these cebollitos is you use a stem like a handle. You only eat the ball. When you finish, it looks like this. Finito. So that's it. We're going to go in and have ourselves some chicken and cebollitas and margaritas. Take care. See you next time from Boomerville. Checking out.